Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Friday Eve, and we're going to be doing some painting tonight. Tonight, we're going to work on what you guys voted in the poll for the fall season. We're going to be painting our Syenann elves in our 4 different seasons. So we've got 4 different elves across 4 different seasons. And you all voted that you wanted to see me paint it in the fall color scheme first. And the voted model winner is going to be this one. So, in this little offshoot segment that we're doing for Warcrow, not only are we going to be doing a 4 seasons color scheme across the 4 elves, but we're also going to be doing a limited paint palette challenge where I am going to paint the entire miniature using only 5 paints. Right? So our colors that we decided on are gold, yellow, Vallejo game color, Roogtarki red, MSP paints, pine green, MSP paints, clear orange, Vallejo. What is this? This is game color? No, this is model color. Vallejo model color. Burnt Sienna from Acryl. A white and a black. Acryl bold titanium white and Vallejo game color black. We pre-shuck all our paints. We're gonna get everything on the palette and get going. How is everyone doing this week? Hopefully you all have had a good week so far. Hopefully your Friday will go even better than the rest of the week. Friday-itis is kicking in for me while I am at work. I've been very, very busy and look forward to a chill, laid-back Friday, even though I doubt that's probably not going to happen. Or I doubt that it's going to happen. That's what I meant to say. What the hell? Come on. A little more brown than I wanted. Fall elf, yes. And as a bonus, when we're done and we do the basing on this guy, we are gonna add a combination of both these very pretty yellow and red leaves onto the base to really create the effect of fall. Ooh, that is old. We shook the paints. We didn't make sure that they were fresh and ready to be put on the palette. Katarina, thank you as always for tuning in and being here every week. It means a lot.
Get the name right now.
What?
Katrina.
Katrina? I'm gonna have to, like, forcibly make myself change how I say that. Also, we have now started to upload the archive of the streams onto YouTube. So, in your free time, if you could, jump over to the YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe on as many videos as you can. Helps the algorithm push my videos out to people that are interested in this kind of content. Yes, I will make sure that I like forcibly make myself say Katrina like the hurricane. At this point forward, I'm just gonna have to say Katrina like the hurricane so that I remember. So there we go. All 5 colors, white and black, are going to get us started. And I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to approach painting this, right? Like, we have all the leaves. That's going to be real fun for our oranges and reds and yellows. We have a cape here, we have armor, his hair. Like, man, there's a lot here and I don't know where I'm going, but I'm just gonna start slapping some paint on and seeing what happens. And we're gonna be not afraid to mix things throughout this whole process, because that is also part of the joy of the limited paint palette, is that I'm just gonna mix paints super freely and see what happens. I'm slowly uploading things onto YouTube, right? So right now, the way it's working out is that 2 videos a week from the archive of streams from when I started streaming are going up onto YouTube. And then once I'm all caught up with current videos, the plan is that once it falls off of the VOD falls off of Twitch, it will upload onto YouTube like the following Friday, right? So that it still makes you, like, if you want to watch current stuff, like the current VODs, you still have to come to Twitch. But anything afterward will go up on YouTube. Because right now the Twitch is more established with more followers. I want the subscribers to happen here on Twitch, in comparison to, like, you can subscribe on YouTube, please, but the subscribing on YouTube doesn't generate revenue. Subscribing on Twitch does. So that is where I would prefer people to be watching stuff. But if you're behind or you want to see previous projects that I've worked on painted, the YouTube will definitely be the place to do that. And then once I am caught up, I might consider putting like either shortened videos or like videos that expressly show like my paint recipes for stuff. Maybe work on shorts. I don't know. YouTube is a full-time job in and of itself, and I already have one of those, so I don't know how much more I want to do. Other than just using it as a stream archive. Hurting canvas painting group using... Hurting Kava's painting group using a limited palette helps keep a cohesive yes, so this is also a little bit of personal practice for when I get a product that I have pre-ordered and should be coming in the mail. Like it's in production now, and I know I've talked about it in the past, the deck of many colors. So the deck of many colors also uses this concept of a limited paint palette using 5 colors plus a white and a black. And it really kind of stretches like you as an artist and like makes you not afraid to like mix colors, makes you more open to just like doing interesting things with your colors. Because like most people, especially like Warhammer players, they're the biggest culprits of this, where they will, you know, they buy the paints in the palette in the pots that go with the color scheme of their army, and then they follow Warhammer or Games Workshop's paint recipe, and then they never think about anything other than just those colors. Like, yeah, you could buy the base tone, and instead of buying your like mid-tone and highlight, you just buy a white and a black, and you can use that across a whole bunch of different models, right? So it reduces the number of paints you have to buy, but most new people into the hobby are they're not artists, right? They're not thinking artistically. They've turned it into a science. And I will admit that I was definitely guilty of that for a long period of time. And I'm trying to break away from that. Especially since I've started doing like competitions and stuff like that. So yes, canvas painting. Yeah, and like that's like they want to be like they want to be mixing colors and paints. So right now we're just kind of trying to be quick and dirty and like just get some base colors down and then pick a direction from there. How are we on sound stuff? I know I've struggled in the past. You guys can hear me fine. The music isn't too loud. So the fun part here is going to be creating the skin tone. That's going to be interesting. Your sound now, I bet, wouldn't cause the ads to be as jarring if you want to turn them back on. That's good to know. But like I said, I'm gonna avoid ads for a little bit. I would rather you guys just, and especially new people coming into the stream, I would rather they just jump right into the channel, and then if they want to support me by subscribing, and not like have to deal with onboarding ads or running ads in between stuff. I might consider, because I have the option to like occasionally run an ad, like I can choose to just run an ad whenever I want, and I think I would rather do that than, and like let's say I need to get up and change my paint water, or like take a break or something real quick. Like I can run, you know, a 1 minute ad or a 30-second ad to fill that time instead of going to my waiting screen. So what do I want to do with this armor? Because it's kind of everywhere. I don't want the green to be like too powerful, but I still want it present. Like I said, we're doing this like completely blind. I have zero plan right now. Zero direction. I'm just kind of winging it and seeing where it takes me. And I feel like painting like this is also like I want the palette visible so that you guys can see like the color mixing and stuff happening. So let's do I think I'm gonna do a wet blend. And play with some wet blending. Do a red underneath. And blending up to an orange. orange is really thin. Okay, well that didn't quite work out the way I really wanted it to, so we're gonna pivot from that. And just go orange on the whole cloak. Here, let's thin this out a little bit, because that's some thick paint. Also, just a reminder, if you had subscribed with Amazon Prime, you need to resubscribe every month to maintain your subscription to the channel. I need to use a different paper towel. Ugh. That's always fun. Example, I need a new paper towel. So I am going to try this. Run 1 minute ad break. About 5 seconds for the ads to start. Renewed. Return NIW. Huh. Return now. Okay, cool. So yeah, I needed a new paper towel because over the weekend when I was prepping these guys, I was using my texture paste. So I've got a texture paste for the that I use to on the basing, and there was residual texture paste on my paper towel, and that was reactivating with water, and then I was getting it in my mouth, so I was getting like gritty texture, and I'm like, bleh. So, new paper towel. Alright, so the wet blend was a total fail and looked terrible. So, I'm going to change and pivot directions here. I'm going to base coat everything in like the cloak in a dark red. Same thing with the leaves. And then, well, that's a lot of black. And then we'll work everything up with layers the way we normally do. That's way too much black. Turn brown. So a lot of the times when it comes to like a limited palette challenge like this, is that the paints that we use for miniature painting aren't pure pigments, right? There are not one pigment paints. They use 2 or 3 different pigments to create the color that you're painting. So a lot of the times when you start mixing things, stuff just turns brown. Which sucks because I feel like more people should mix their paints. But sometimes, as you saw, adding the black into the red just turned it into a brown color instead of a darker black color. So I had to resaturate it with red to get where I wanted to be. Okay. Oh, I like this much better as a direction for the like base coating this fall color scheme. Starting with this nice deep red, get into all my shadows, and then work up to the oranges and yellows. Also, Katrina, to follow up on your point about the fact that, canvas painters mix their paints a lot. Mixing your paints creates, really good variation in color. You create interesting variations of color and depth of color when you have to mix the paint, because you're not getting the same color every time you do mix paint. So even though it's still red or like a dark red, maybe it's a little more black or a little more orange. Like there's residual wet orange paint in here, and I'm just kind of letting it mix in. Who cares? Right? I'm not following any like preconceived notion of what color is what. I'm just kind of painting, which is honestly like freeing. And like instead of like sitting down and being like, this armor needs to be this particular space marine blue, I'm just kind of painting. I really like what's going on there with that orange in the recess like that. That looks nice. This orange paint is really thin. Okay, let's switch to a thinner brush. Get a little bit more control going on in here. You okay over there?
Mm-hmm.
What's so funny?
I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Let's see. I have 2 people watching, but I've only heard from Katrina. Who else is here? Or do we just have a lurker? No problems with it, but I like to talk to you guys. That black is so strong. This also might be a really good start for my skin tone. This like earthy, ruddy brown, reddish brown into, add some yellow. My palette's slipping away from me. Well, there was 3 not that long ago. Also, I've been wanting to watch from I saw the first episode and can't get it out of my head. The more you mix, the more skin tone it looks. Yeah, so that's just what, that's the red mixed with a little bit of black from here, adding a little bit of yellow and then a little bit of white, and it creates a nice beige skin tone. And like what great like variation of color mixing your skin tones does. Like, I don't have a paint that looks like that anywhere in my collection of paints.
Hey Google, turn the bedroom daylight. Hey Google, bedroom 100% brighter.
I'll say the only downside to some of these Warcrow models is like the sculpts are a little goofy looking in some areas. Like their proportions are a little weird, but I don't know, it gives them character. That's another reason why I like really old models and old sculpts, because like they don't have like perfect proportions because they've all been hand sculpted, and like I don't know, I feel like it gives them a lot of character. I was having a conversation on another painter's stream about how I prefer painting metal models over painting like plastic and resin miniatures. And he was curious why I liked the metal models over like traditional plastic miniatures. And one of which is just they have a lot more character. Kind of like orcs in 40K. Like they're super animated and have a whole bunch of character to them. And like that's why people love playing and painting orcs. But it's also a reason why I really enjoy painting old metal miniatures. They also just have a different like feel to them than plastic models. Like sometimes with plastic, especially depending upon like what plastic miniatures you pick, like Reaper Bones, they don't have the sharpest details in the world. Kind of like these, their details aren't super sharp. They're sharp enough that you can like paint them, but they're not like super crispy straight like lines that have detail pop out of them like let's say a Warhammer model, right? Like this has super crisp detailed lines that like you can see literally everything. But there's so much here that sometimes those are harder to paint than something like this, where there's less sculpted detail and your detail comes from using your paintbrush and like the way you paint the miniature. So that's another reason why I like metal models, is like you have more artistic freedom to do things with paint than you do with a super sculpted detail miniature. I need to mix skin tones more often. This came out really good. Takes a couple coats because we're painting over top of black, but actually it looks really nice. Well, that's not glued together very well. I got a big old gap. You guys see that? That big old gap in the wrist? That feels bad. Yeah, a lot of the times when you're painting over top of black like this, it takes a couple coats before you get your full opacity of your color. I'm also intentionally trying to leave the section up here in his, because this has hair texture to it. So he's like, the sides of his head are shaved. So I want to leave some of that dark so that I know where the divide between, like, you can see it, there's a line that divides the face and where the hair is at. Over here it's blurred a little bit, but I can still see it. So I kind of want to leave that darker so that we can identify the difference as we paint. Thinking maybe brown for his hair. What is this? What is this brown? This is the Pro Acryl brown. So that should go on pretty easily if I want to put it on thick. In a couple coats. Bum-ba-dum-ba. First coat made me think the camera was goofing because it looked gray. The wrist looks like he has a big glove and a short sleeve. Maybe, yeah, but I also feel like just that gap is way too big. But also, like, these are not the highest quality plastic miniatures. So when Warcrow first came out, they used a type of plastic called Cast. So it is cheaper than, and it was a cost thing, right? So it's a cheaper material than like the hard model kit plastic that you expect from like a Games Workshop. Like this is like the hard gray plastic. Like you can sand this, you can cut into it with an X-Acto knife, you can scrape away mold lines, right? Like this has a lot of workability in it, right? So like this is obviously is a Games Workshop model, and this is their plastic, and you use plastic cement and you can fuse this together, right? And it creates a permanent bond. The plastic will rip before it, like, the bond breaks. And Cast is supposed to be an in-between between that and the, let me see if I have, here we go. So Reaper Miniatures has their Reaper Bones models. It's like this white, like really bendable plastic. Like I can take this and I can just bend it and nothing bad will happen to it. It'll kind of form back into its shape, right? So Cast is supposed to be a cross between that nice hard plastic and this really soft plastic. The problem is that it is notoriously bad at warping. It's also notoriously bad at losing details. It's better than like the Reaper Bones, but it's not quite as good as like a metal or the hard plastic of Games Workshop. Now there's another in between that's called Unicore, which is a cross between like your Games Workshop plastic and resin. And those models are beautiful. Like that plastic is like so crisp and the details are really good. You can sand it. All the new Warcrow models for, was it Mount Haven? Those are the dwarves that just came out. All the new Warcrow models, I believe, are moving towards Cast, or the Unicore. And if they're gonna do Unicore across all of the Warcrow line, like I'm super excited for more of that and painting that, because it's way better than this Cast stuff. And don't get me wrong, Cast is good, but it's not as good as it could be. So that's most likely why we didn't fit together here at the wrist. That's also why, which miniature is it? This one right here, her arm was a separate piece, but you can see her shoulder is kind of like super square right here at the top. And that's because there was no way to like cut away the burr from the sprue without cutting effectively the corner of her shoulder off. So Siocast makes nice model, like is better quality than some things that they could use, but definitely not the highest quality. Also, it takes forever to clean, right? Like with Games Workshop, you can sand it, you can hit it with an X-Acto knife, like you can use sanding sticks on it, or you can use an X-Acto knife or other tools like that. Siocast, you gotta cut all of that away with a very sharp X-Acto knife. And if you mess up, then you've messed up. There's no margin of error. So it can be really unforgiving, especially for people that have never used it before. I know a lot of people that don't want to play Warcrow because of the Siocast plastic that they use for the miniatures. So I might have to do something with that wrist, but we're not going to do it on stream. I'm going to do it in my free time. Probably over the weekend. I'll probably use some green stuff as a gap filler. I might even just use the Ard coat, which people have recommended be a gap filler, which is basically just the Ard coat is just effectively like a varnish, but I think for this big of a gap I'm gonna have to stuff some green stuff in there and trim it away and let it harden. What the fuck is this music? Alright, fast forward through that. That's weird. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Make sure I stay in frame here for you guys. See, I am really excited because hopefully in the next few weeks, we should be... I have to watch his Patreon video and see if we get any updates on the deck of many colors. But hopefully... I'm going to be getting that in the mail soon, and then once we have it, I might just find a random model in my collection and do an offshoot where we paint a model using the deck of many colors. But I also want to invite friends over and do a paint night where we all paint a model using the deck of many colors. Alright, let's what do we think? So I have his... Right now I'm doing the green on like the little skirt flowy stuff. And then we're going to do the armor in the red and orange. We'll get yellows up in here when we start doing leaves. I'm going to work the red up in the cape some, incorporate some of the orange into it and yellow into it. But his knees here, I can't tell if they have fabric on them or if they're exposed skin. And I'm wondering what we should do there. Whether or not we should make it the skin tone or if we should do his kneecaps. We should do them in the green like he's wearing pants, or if we should do like exposed skin. It looks like there's fabric texture there. And there. I think we're going to keep it fabric. Let's see if we can pull this orange up on his armor a little bit. like, man, why is that yellow, that orange so runny? It's because it's an MSP paint versus, or it's a, yeah, MSP versus Vallejo. Alright. I'm painting off screen again. You guys gotta yell at me when I do that. Tall socks over the knees, yellow. Ye old stockings. I think we're gonna stick with the green. We're keeping the yellow for the higher points. And see, this doesn't put the palette in frame. That's the annoying part here. Yeah, that orange is so thin. Oh, that's much better. See if we can pull this orange up a little bit and get a little bit of brightness on top of this orange. Pull in some yellow here. Pull this up even higher. Oh, that looks really nice. I like that a lot. Now, what do we want to do with these links where the armor is joined together? What if we mix... What if we do this? Take my yellow. Add some white into it. Pallet's drying up a little bit. I'm gonna add some water. How does this look? Ooh, that pops. Hell yeah, I like that a lot. So this is supposed to be kind of like reminiscent to like stitched leather armor, right? Kind of like old samurai armor, where it's like leather panels stitched together with like strong cord, and that's what we're painting now. That's what the yellow parts are, is like the cord holding the panels together, and this yellow just pops on this like reddish orange armor. Boy, that looks really good. That was not a lot of work either to get to that. Clean up some of the edges here. Also, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this kind of paint challenge like this is that I'm not overthinking. I'm just kind of doing, and by doing, I'm going fast or faster, and I'm getting really nice results by like not stressing as much. Right, everything on the channel so far has been like super high-end paint jobs, And this is just a fun, laid back paint scheme. That's where it was. It was the pure orange that I wanted. There's a little bit of an in-between here. Smooth out this blend a little bit, because I've got some room to blend it. And we're gonna pull it up just a little bit on this leg, because this leg is a little lower with less like light on it. Less of a like drastic change. And sorry if you guys can't see. There we go. I gotta position this where you guys can see it too. What are we at here? Hour and 30 minutes? Okay. That's pretty solid progress for an hour and a half. like a defect in the model right there. That's interesting. Hell yeah, that looks so much better than I thought it would. So let's work on the cape. What do you think? Do we want to go more red here, or should we do what we did? I think we're gonna maybe go a different direction. Let's try something a little bit different. Too much water. don't know how I love this, but I like the texture that's happening. Maybe not the colors that we're going in to. Getting really pink. I don't know if I wanted to go pink with this. But what happens if we take this thinner? Better. What happens if we take this pink that we've been painting here and glaze some yellow over top of it? We just glaze the whole thing. Nope. It's like a peachy color. That's interesting. I guess we did inevitably just end up at orange. So instead of staying at orange, what if we just keep working up the yellow? see what we can do over here. Actually, we probably want to go a brighter orange before we go into the yellow. So let's try this. This orange is separating on me. Take the orange, mix in some white. Oh yeah, that's way better. Add a hint of yellow there. That's just peach. Boy, that red is strong. Huh. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Let's see what this looks like. It's just kind of a muddy orange. Oh, not quite. What's that look like on our model? That's about the same color we're at now. Alright, let's just do straight yellow and see what happens. That's not too bad. Bless you.
Thank you.
I mean, you just switch to a smaller brush for these leaves. Okay, I'm in frame. I was worried I wasn't in frame there. The leaves look really cool. Thank you. I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to try to fully paint each individual leaf, but like having everything in the base red is going to really help, like, to pick and choose what gets painted yellow, what gets painted orange. You know, we've got so many different colors of orange, we can create some interesting variations of orange by painting individual leaves. The issue is going to be how many passes we have to do to get full opacity. In a said given leaf, right? So like this process is probably going to be the one that takes the longest on this model. But in the finished product, I guess it will probably be one of the most rewarding things. We shall see. See, what I need is a good, like, I need a good orange. The orange that I have is okay, but it doesn't scream like fall leaf orange. My red is kind of orangey, my orange is kind of yellow. My red is also kind of brown. Had to restart stream. Infinite buffer for me. I think it's my connection. Yeah. I mean, my output isn't very high, so it could be a combination of your buffer speed and my output ratio just not liking one another. I'm struggling to get this red brighter. Where are we at on stream? 2 hours and 23 minutes. I think we might be calling it here soon. go. Cloak looks amazing. The yellow there was an awesome choice. Thank you. It's kind of interesting. Like, as you like move it and turn it, it kind of changes between yellow and orange, and that's probably due to like the texturing that I've done and the undercoating with the red. I'm really enjoying how the cloak is coming out. I think I might push it a little brighter, right? Like take this yellow that we mixed earlier for like the links in the fabric here and like add a, maybe not quite that bright. That's better. Right, like take this and then start pulling it up again. With the scratchy highlight lines. And really pull it up another notch. Really get that yellow in there. Doing some more work. That is the perk of like layering things like this, is that you really get like some interesting gradients, create some texture as well. I have a lot of fun doing this like scratchy line highlight on stuff. Near instant difference, yeah. But as it dries, it kind of like blends in. Like it, when it's wet, it's gonna pop. But once it dries, it like blends into the rest of it, and it's not quite as bright, and it's still like kind of subtle. Like if I really, really want to take it up higher, I would have to add more white, which we might do. But these scratchy highlights like this are a whole lot of fun on fabric. Like if I wanted to go really bright, I would just take the white and mix in a little bit of yellow and get this really bright, like ice yellow, which you all know how much I love that color. Yeah, look at that. Look how bright that is. So like we do that and then just really thin fine scratchy highlights. And it looked like it was way brighter than it, but once you put it on the model, it like all the other surrounding colors changed it as a color. Some of these are a little too bright, but we can always pull it back down. Right, if that's too bright, which it is a little bit too bright, we'll just go back to this yellow that we were using. Get it down to a glaze and just pull it back. That's really bright. Yeah, it's almost that almost went too bright. So I might have to pull it back down again with some orange. That's much better. I like that a lot. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave it here, and then we'll come back to this next week, working on the mane of leaves, the greens. We still have the bow, and like the front of his like cloak and armor and stuff like that. So I might work on this more over the weekend as well. So keep an eye out on Discord and Instagram, for work in progress pics, stuff like that. So I think it's coming along really nice so far. We got really far for the 2.5 hours that we worked on this. And I think we should probably be finished with this in the next painting session on stream. So between work on it over the weekend and the next stream, I think we'll have this guy all wrapped up. So with that, I think we are going to call it for the night. Please, if you haven't already and you can spare the extra $, subscribe here on Twitch. If not, I'd love for you to go over to YouTube, give me some likes, leave some comments, follow the channel for updates on new videos for the stream archive. And between now and the next time we see each other, don't forget to keep it weird. Have a good night, guys.